Great to have Mike Lupica of the New York Daily News and ESPN with us here on Radio Row. Mike, first of all, folks asking the question, was coming here with the weather, having a Super Bowl here in New York, good idea, bad idea?
I'll tell you at 11 o'clock Sunday night. if the weather ruins the game, it was a bad idea. I was on board with this. I thought it was crazy to have the biggest event in American sports not come to New York one time. John Mara, one of the Giants owners, and I went to college together. I'm a Giants fan, so I thought this was a good thing, okay? But as the reality is set in, and I really don't want weather and meteorologists to be the star of Super Bowl week, so we'll see. We'll find out, because I now hear that the league is embracing the cold and what a good idea this is. Okay, but if it's such a great idea, how come it took them 48 Super Bowls to play one outdoors in the Northeast and now on the first Sunday in February?
I had heard, and I had forgotten about this, the last time the NFL season ended in New York was 1962 at the old Yankee Stadium, Packers and Giants. And that was a really, really bad weather day.
Right.
So, I mean, it's just been a long, long time since anything like this. And this is the media capital of the world.
It was cold that day. It wasn't horrible. The Giants got their doors blown off.
By the Packers.
Right.
But just the whole thing of being in this setting, this is the perfect place to have a Super Bowl. But why didn't they build a retractable roof stadium?
What you hear now, Bill, is that it would have cost another $500 million. I have no way of knowing. I know that Jerry built that stadium down in Texas for $1.2 billion, okay? This one cost $1.7 billion. And you look at it and you'll see it. I don't know if you've been there, okay?
No, I have not.
Okay. It's a big, ugly gray bowl. There's nothing spectacular about it. There's nothing to recommend it. They could have built any kind of stadium they wanted, and I just think it was the cost of building a retractable. It's like this dopey tennis stadium we have for the U.S. Open. They could have built any kind of stadium they wanted, and they built one that they can't cover, which is why they got 5 straight men's finals pushed back to Monday. If the roof were there, nobody would be having a conversation about the weather.
It wasn't a land issue or anything like that.
I don't think so. I think it was a cost issue. And, the stadium cost more than they thought it was going to cost because the Giants had to do something they never wanted to do, which was sell PSLs.
The state of New York sports right now, I mean, none of the teams are winning big at the moment.
No, really? You noticed that, huh? You picked up on that?
Yeah. I picked up on that. So what's your take on that now?
Well, yeah, but the Yankees, every few years, whether they have to or not, they spend $500 million in the offseason on baseball players. So the Knicks probably wish they could buy their way out of trouble like that because, you see how they're playing this year. No, it's been a down year. It's been a down year, but you know what? Every few years the Giants give us an improbable Super Bowl, so you can't complain about that. And, it was 5 years ago the Yankees won the World Series. So we haven't, and I say this with all due respect because I love the city that I'm going to reference. We haven't turned into Cleveland.
Right, absolutely. All right, what about Alex Rodriguez? He's in the news right now. Your thoughts about A-Rod? Is he a public enemy here in New York?
No,
I
don't
view him.
No, he's not a public enemy, but he did everything they said he did. He deserved the punishment he got. It's shameful the way he has sued everybody as if he's blaming everybody else for his problems. And he got what he deserved. He bought the drugs, he used the drugs, he got clipped by baseball for using the drugs. And all the people who said, he got overcharged, I kept saying, well, wait till you see the evidence. Now you can go back and see why the arbitrator ruled the way he did, and he's going to sit. And when he comes back, he's going to be nearly 40 years old. There's a line in the Bible that covers this. What you sow is what you reap, even if you thought you were going to be the all-time home run champion. I have no sympathy for this guy.
Mike is an outsider and trying to cover as much as we can in a short period of time. Mike is an outsider looking at the Dallas Cowboys from a New York perspective. Why aren't the Cowboys successful in your opinion?
I think it's too easy to just blame it on Jerry. I do. I actually think I think he has to think about bringing in a football guy to run the football operation. They have been unlucky. I mean, I think they were going to make the playoffs this year until Romo got hurt. I think Romo gets a bad rap. I think there's a lot of talent in the room, and I happen to be somebody who likes the coach. I like the coach a lot, and I just think that they have to look at the way they run what their business model is, okay? Because John Mara, for example, is a great football guy, comes from a great football family, but they always let George Young and then Ernie Accorsi and then Jerry Reese run the football operation. Jerry's got to let go a little bit. I'm not saying he can't have input, and I'm not saying he shouldn't have a seat in the room, but I think they need a real general manager.
Finally, Mike Lupica is with us. For folks who maybe don't get here much or maybe have never been to this city, give us a flavor as a New Yorker. Describe New York for us.
Well, Bill, I'll tell you this, okay? People who walk the streets of our city will find out that it's not anything like they've heard. The old joke about New York City used to be, can you tell me how to find the Empire State Building, or should I just go screw myself, okay? We're the opposite of that here, okay? The energy, the conversation, anybody who's in from out of town who goes into a sports bar over the next week or so will find the best sports conversation there is. This is a city of friendly people. It's one of the greatest experiments in the history of the world, New York City, and it's working. And as we found out about 12 years ago after September 11th, it's the capital of tough people.